Today we're going to answer, was it worth it? Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are in our 8th year of homeschooling, and we love to come here and share with you all kinds of things. Something that we are incredibly passionate about is family travel. So this will be the last of my 3-part discussion on our California extravaganza. Today we'll be discussing if it was worth it. Before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. I kind of mapped this video out so I would try to stay on point and focused. So if you see me looking this way, that's where my outline is. And we just got some information that my oldest has been awaiting. And so now I have a little bit of nervous energy, so sorry about that, but I'm a little excited. So let's jump into today's topic. We are home and settled. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have for years been begging to do what I like to call California extravaganza. So heading from home in Houston over to California, spending a few days in Disneyland, hitting Legoland, and also heading over to the San Diego Zoo. In the past, it has just been cost prohibitive. We happened to get some great travel deals, which made it affordable for us. So we are finally able to check the box for the California extravaganza. I had reservations. If you saw my video from earlier this week, I had reservations I usually try to get a solid 6 to 8 weeks of our school year in before we take a break. But the news that we've been waiting to hear about from my oldest is kind of a large time commitment. And so we didn't want to do anything that would impact her scheduling for that. And so we knew that we needed to push our fall vacation a little earlier than normal, but we still wanted it to be after schools had gone back. So it was like a very finite window of time, and it just happened to align with all of the deals that were being offered. And so I was like, am I gonna regret this? Is it gonna be terrible? Is it the worst idea ever? And now that we are home and settled, I can tell you, I am so glad that we did it. We've had kind of a wild summer of just feeling displaced, and this really afforded us a wonderful opportunity for togetherness just as our family, our little unit of 4, and it was really nice. And I think it was exactly what we needed just as a family, but also to really kick off back to school, if that makes sense, to really enjoy it. I think it came at the perfect time to allow us to pivot when it came to my daughter's Algebra 1 curriculum. And I have shared recently about that, and we'll be sharing more specifically about the new Denison algebra coming up. So if you want to hear more about that, I either already have or will have more information for you. So I mentioned we did get great deals. We just happened to time it just right when Disney was offering a 3-day ticket deal. If you went Monday through Thursday, we were able to get exceptionally cheap flights through Southwest, and Legoland had a ticket deal. So basically, it all just kind of aligned to make it a vacation that was literally less than half of what I had always priced in the past. So those are really big savings for us. Now, I haven't calculated exactly what we spent, but just in booking, like our tickets would have been close to $1,600 for Disneyland alone, and we spent, I think, right at $8. So little things like that really compounded to make it the right time for us to make these travels because of the timing of this vacation and because of the way that the rental car was the cheapest and things like that, and the specific set of dates that we had. It worked out where normally when we travel, we try to leave like on a Thursday and we're coming back like on a Saturday or Sunday so we can be ready for the week with a week in the middle. And this time it was Monday to Monday. Because of that, it actually turned into, instead of being 1 week off, 2 weeks off, which I also think benefited us in allowing us to get back, mentally reset, and also start valuing some of those pressure points from the first few weeks of school before we did travel, one of which being that Algebra 1. So just a few thoughts that I wanted to give you about everything that we did do. 1, LA is amazing. It's so nice to be able to get outside. Yes, there's a lot of traffic. Yes, it's major cities. There's a lot of people in a lot of buildings, but people don't realize that there's actually a large amount of outside activities that you can do. You can hike up to the George Observatory or hike up to the Hollywood sign. We got out and walked around downtown. We saw the Chinese Theater, which I think is now the Dolby Theater, and we saw the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and we had pre-scouted some of the ones that we wanted to see. Mickey Mouse and Tinkerbell, we saw them. It was a really fun time just getting out and doing some things that we hadn't done before. Our kids are a little older now, with the youngest one being 8, and so they could really appreciate that. We did head over to Disneyland, and I want to tell you a few of the things that I think really get lost in the Disney vacation planning conversations. As adults, we see things in groups, we see Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and we see lightning lane passes, and we see the fancy reservations, and we start to feel inadequate, either with our ability to book a vacation, because a Disney vacation is really complex. Travel agents are available. Disney travel planners are amazing. We start to feel inadequate if we can't do all of it. So if we can't spend $200 on a fancy lightsaber, we start to feel like our kids will be missing out. And I think we miss the bigger picture. Your kids don't know what they're missing. So if we never bring up Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, they're not gonna miss it. Even if they are aware of things like the lightsaber build, like the droid build, like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, where you can easily and without batting an eye drop a few $100s in the matter of an hour, even if they're aware, it is probably a really good time to give them the life lesson, and we apply this everywhere we go. So we don't often buy souvenirs unless it is something like a once in a lifetime thing. If it's a place we go often, absolutely not. We carry in water, we carry in snacks, and it is something that we've trained our children to know is our baseline standard. So even if your kid is aware of all of these things, if you can't sit them down and have the conversation that says, yes, those things are available. And no, those things are not for us. Not this time, not ever, not now. We don't find value in it. We are not able to use our money in that manner, but we do get to go to Disney, and that's amazing. We do get to do all these fun things. We do get to spend time together as a family. We do get to ride rides. We do get to see parades. We get so bogged down with what we can't do, and I think it's especially prevalent with Disney vacations. You feel like you have to spend $10,000, and you don't. Okay, you do not. I do not recommend it. That's an insane amount of money. Don't lose the perspective of what is amazing about a lot of that, because it's not the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and it's not the lightsaber build. It's the fireworks at the end of the night, and it's waiting in line and playing goofy games, and it is riding the rides, and it's the exhilaration of your kids seeing Mickey in the parade. Don't lose sight of the things that make it wonderful just because you're focusing on the things that you can't do. So please, Disney isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Whether you don't enjoy it or it's not something that's ever going to be in your family's budget, that's okay. But if you do make it happen, don't feel like your vacation is less than because you can't do it all. Those people who can do it all, that's not me. That's not me. We've done Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique a lot of times. We didn't do it this time. Why? It took park time and it took money we weren't going to spend on it. It just wasn't there for us this time, and that's okay. So I don't want you feeling less than because there's things you can't do when you should be celebrating the things you can. And that applies to every aspect of life. It applies to homeschool, it applies to co-ops, it applies to curriculum, it applies to park days, it applies to Disney, it applies to everything. So don't stress about that. Just let it go, okay? Just let it go. There's no need to feel subpar when you could be really proud of what you are doing and accomplishing and getting done. Legoland. Legoland is not Disney. It is significantly smaller. The hours are incredibly different. It is really fun. And even though my husband and I enjoy it as adults, there's a lot of things that your kids will age out of. I mean, there were a few rides that we made a point to tell our oldest, like, this is the last time you're gonna get to do this, because the cutoff age for some of them is 12. Like, it is not ideal. If you could take your kids one time and you're wondering what the ideal age is, I would say 9 to 10. They're tall enough for everything, they're young enough for everything, and they're going to really enjoy it. We did spend 2 days because I wanted to make sure we could do it all, and I also wanted to see, since it's the first summer they're doing this, their like block parade, which was so cool. But the second day, because we had done so much in the first day, traveling off season, we'll get back to it. But because we had done so much in the first day, the second day I was like, you know what? We've got access to the water park. Let's do it. So we went and rode the few rides that we wanted to ride for sure before the water park opened. We headed into the water park and I was like, you know, I would be really unhappy with myself if I had intentionally come just to this water park, because we are in an area, in a climate, we are, you know, you guys know we're Schlitterbahn people. I've never even done a water park at Disney because I'm like, I'm not taking the time away from, I've never done it. We've been season pass holders for multiple years. Not currently, but in the past. It's just, we have access to water parks all the time. And so for me, it just wasn't good enough to justify. If you never do water parks, you're coming from a place when you can't do that. If, like us, you had a second day and it's worth it to you in that respect, because like, sure, a couple hours, it was worth it to us. But even then, we did everything once. We're like, And then we went back into Legoland and did more of the fun stuff from Legoland. So I just, you know, skip it maybe. If you don't have a plenty of time, if you don't have 4 hours, you're not doing anything else, just skip it. That's my suggestion. Do not snooze on Legoland Hotel. We did not stay in it this trip, but when we did our 2021 vacation, and you can find all of those videos over on Suitcase Princess, it was amazing. The Legoland hotels, there are blocks everywhere. The elevators are a disco elevator. I'm gonna link it right up here because you just have gotta see. It was so cool. It was so cool. So Legoland Hotel, if you get the opportunity to do that, like for one night, totally worth it. It is wildly amazing. And they run Black Friday sales like you would not believe. So the hotel, and worth it. Totally awesome and amazing and worth it. The water park, okay, that's my feeling on that. My feedback and thoughts on San Diego Zoo. One, it's amazing. We were there during summer, so for some reason they do nighttime things in the summer, and we were still there for like summer hours, even though school had already started. It was hot, but we did. They open at 9 and they close at 9, and I think we were rolling out of there at like 8:30. So we were there like a full 12 hours. It is hilly. Somehow everything is uphill both ways. You need a virtual queue to see the pandas. It was awesome. It was amazing. We did absolutely everything there that we wanted to do. We scoped the animals online ahead of time. And come to find out, I think their pangolin actually died in 2016. So that list of animals is not accurate, and I'm a little bitter, but it's okay because I really like animals. So I was really excited to go to the zoo. It's gorgeous. It has like a gondola that goes over the top, and it's right in Balboa Park. Now, Balboa Park is amazing, but we're gonna come to that in just a minute. So San Diego Zoo, there's like a double-decker bus. You can like drive around and get a tour. There's shows, there were like puppets and like dance parties because it's like special summertime. There are not enough bathrooms as far as I'm concerned because I was just like, every time I had to go to one, I felt like we always had to circle back to the same one. And the food selection, I'm a little torn on it because they do have a few specialty things. But I just felt like mostly it was theme park food. Like Disney, you can kind of get an array of things, and Legoland, you can get what I would call average theme park food and then just like a little bit more, just a little bit more. So like a little burrito or like a little bao or apple fries. San Diego Zoo, yeah, I mean, the food, but we were stuck there all day, so might as well eat it, right? So that is my feeling about the San Diego Zoo. Is it amazing? Yes. I feel like my California cup has been filled and I can stop pressuring everybody to go back to California, and that's done for a while. I also feel like my Disney cup has been filled for a while because the prices have gotten so wild, and the insanity and the crowds and the packedness and never an off season. So until all of that evens out, I'm just not stressing about it anymore. However, I might finally have to get over to a Universal park because my kids are finally old enough and tall enough for all of those things, which we have always put off because they are not old enough or tall enough for all of those things. So that might be coming up on the bucket list. And I also really, really, really want to go to Dollywood, which I think would be so fun, and spend some time over there. But we'll come back to that. So our final day, we were able to spend a little bit of time in San Diego. And so we went over and we saw the beach. We stuck our feet in the beach and we ate on like this cute little boardwalk. I cannot remember the name of it. If I do find it, I'll put it right here. And it had like a Coney Island style coaster, and we played putt-putt, and it was right next to a park that was on the water. It was so pretty. And we also went and had spent some time in Balboa Park, which has like a beautiful outside amphitheater. And it has, and I didn't know this, or I would have intentionally been there on a weekend day. I think Saturdays is when they're open, but it has these tiny little cottages that are, because it was the site, I think, of a World's Fair, so they built all these little buildings or whatever, but it's got like these tiny little cottages where it's like the United Nations of these little cottages, and countries like staff them with people, and you can go in and talk to them, and there's Israel and Germany, and I think was it Iraq or Iran, and there's Palestine and Chile and Hungary and all of these UK, Ireland, all of these countries have these adorable little cottages, and I just wish we had been there when they were open, because what a wonderful homeschool field trip would that be. They even have like a Comic-Con museum right there in Balboa Park, so we might have to go back to San Diego because it was amazing. But my California cup right now is super full. So we had the best time. It was so fun. But I do want to leave you with 3 tips to maximize the value in your traveling. Okay, so 3 ways to maximize the value in your vacation. Number 1 is do not snooze on gift cards from big box stores. And this applies to Southwest gift cards, even Starbucks gift cards, dining gift cards, but especially Disney gift cards. What we do, and I hope that this makes sense, is you can purchase gift cards, for example, that are worth like, let's say $100, but you can buy them at the big box stores because they're discounted. So you buy them, for example, $95. But the spend value is $100. So theoretically, for every $100, you're already saving $5. And this is what we do. We can pay off flights or our Disney travels. We did this ahead of time. We figured out which gift card value was the best savings, bought the gift cards, preloaded them into our, phone spending apps, and then we used that to purchase our mobile orders, snacks, souvenirs, all those things in the Disney parks, and they had a greater spend value than we spent to purchase them, so it's instant savings, okay? So gift cards that you can buy at a discount from a very reputable source like Sam's, Costco, BJ's. If you can buy gift cards that have a higher spend value than you are spending to buy them, instant savings. Number 2, greatest way to add value to any vacation is to go when other people are not going. So that means during the school year. That means maybe sometimes over holidays. All of the major holidays at Disney are significantly busier, so do not do that. But it also means getting there when they open, because not everybody's gonna get up and go, but also staying late because everybody's gonna be tired and go home. So it is huge for you if you can go anywhere when people are not going, because you can do more spending the same amount of money, therefore increasing the value. So you're waiting in line less. You're able, for example, at Legoland, we were able to stay on the Dragon Coaster like 3 times in a row without having to get off because there was nobody in line. It was so cool. So you're able to do more in the same amount of time and money you've spent. That increases value, okay? So go when other people are not going. Number 3, the final tip that I have for you to increase value on any vacation is instant savings. And that means, are you doing things like using airline points? So we charge everything on one credit card. Everything that is possible to pay with a credit card, we pay with our credit card. We pay it off every month. We don't carry a balance. We don't have debt. But we are maximizing the usage of those points. When we fly Southwest, we are able to, I can't tell you the last time we paid dollars, like cash dollars for a flight, I cannot tell you. Our family of 4 travels, when we travel Southwest, I can't tell you the last time we paid money. It is exclusively on points. And by constantly shopping and constantly repricing, we're able to save money. Instant deals. For example, by being willing to structure our vacation around the 3-day ticket deal that was only good for Monday through Thursday, we saved 50% on our Disneyland tickets. So when you're shopping for deals, when you're willing to be flexible with dates, and also going to California wasn't in the cards for us right now. It's a thing I've always wanted to do. So every time I get a chance, I price it to see how much it would be. But by being flexible with where I want to go, by being flexible when I want to go, you can instantly apply those savings. The same thing happened by flying to London in January. We found a great flight deal that gave us 4 international round trip tickets for $1,700. It included luggage. It's an amazing deal. So if you are shopping deals and shopping those discounts and flexible on dates, you get instant savings. It's an automatic, instant way to save money and therefore increase the value that you're getting out of every vacation that you take. Guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, and informative. I also hope that it inspires you to take your kids and get out of the house. I always get questions, how do you do it? How do you make this happen? This is how. I'm doing everything I can to pinch a penny, but I am not traveling cheap. I'm traveling by getting the most value out of those dollars that I'm spending because it is important to me to be able to do it again. So guys, I hope that you found any of it helpful, and I hope that you take those kids and get out of the house. Don't forget to scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right here or down in the comments over on Instagram.